welcome everybody for today with the Virtual Careers Fair. I have to admit it's quite a different scenario as from last year where it was face-to-face at Griffith Uni. So this is a brand new world for me as well, but so much a privilege to be able to impart some information to you all that are attending today. So I guess before I start, I just wanted to just disclose a little information about myself. So I've been in the disability sector for over 10 years now, and in a variety of contexts, and have, I guess, a strong passion for social justice, advocacy and equality. And educating employers is also a passion of mine, and that's all about embracing inclusivity and diversity. And I'm privileged to facilitate the USEP program through Griffith University, and I work for Milestones Employment, who is the DES provider associated with the USEP and Griffith and the NDCO. So prior to COVID-19, I did co-locate to Griffith Uni twice a week. However, at the moment, obviously things have changed, so I facilitate USEP, but I work remotely now. And as Teresa had mentioned to you, USEP is a three-way partnership between a university, the NDCO, and a DES provider. All right, so my topic today is talking about accessing opportunities for graduate employment if your university does not offer USEP or a similar program like GradWise, for example. Thank you, Ben. To start off with, really it comes down to the basics. So we really need to prepare your personal statement. Identify who you are, and I guess that's really important. Over the course of your career, your personal statement will obviously evolve, because potentially now the beginning of your personal statement will be, I'm a current student at whatever university, but once you complete your degree, you'll be obviously a graduate. So your personal statement is very important. And you need to identify what your short-term or long-term goal is. What do you want to achieve when you reach out for opportunities? Obviously, if you don't have a USEP or GradWise consultant on campus, the information today is to assist you to have the tools and the resources and the confidence to reach out. How do I reach out for these opportunities? It's important to identify, alongside what you want to achieve, is your value system. So what's important to you as a person, and how do you see yourself fitting into a culture or an organisation with those same sort of values? For example, you can research employers who have inclusivity and diversity policies. They have values such as integrity, learning, innovation, professional excellence. And I might just add here as well that what the knowledge that I'm imparting to you today is pretty much exactly how I proceed when I'm supporting students and graduates at Griffith as well. This is I guess the process that I work with and go through with them. So when you're preparing yourself, you need to also have preparation to take notes when you engage with employers. Thank you, Ben. The next slide. The fundamentals. It's all about networking. Research your local community. Research community information centres that are close to you or in an area that you'd like to work, if it's a regional area, for example. Research these centres that represent your degree or have a close representation. For example, neighbourhood centres, currently they offer free tax services for individuals who earn below $65,000. Therefore, if you have an accounting degree, it is a place to start, you know, they have accountants that go in and undertake tax services for free. So that's a way for you to link in. So make contact with the neighbourhood centre. Make sure you write down the individual's name that you speak to, or the gatekeeper, because the gatekeeper is very important. You may need that name for future reference. And discuss with the gatekeeper your personal statement. Advise you're seeking information around possible employment, opportunities, any internships. Maybe something to think about at this point is, before you make the call, what do you want to achieve? Is it a fact-finding mission that you want to, is that your approach that you want to take, which is a soft approach? Or is it direct questioning? So do you need to ask any direct questions about opportunities for employment? So think about that. Another good place to research for opportunities are your local chambers of commerce. Research in your area or area that you'd like to work in. Who are the regional chambers of commerce? Call up, attend when their next breakfast is, which is a really good way to network. You'll have a lot of key business players who come along, and that's an opportunity for you to recognise who's who in the zoo, so to speak. Like, who are the influencers? Who are the authorisers? Who carry a little bit of weight in the community? Make sure you make notes, write down who the key people are. Another way for you to undertake that mission is to go to Toastmasters as well. And potentially that's a two-way strategy there to increase your own confidence in public speaking. Toastmasters also have key people from the community that attend. They're probably once a fortnight, once a month, the Toastmasters group, alongside the Chambers of Commerce. So they're two good places to actually attend. I've had some good successes through attending breakfasts at Chambers of Commerce. Okay, next slide. Thank you, Ben. Sign up for job alerts. That's really important, depending on what state you're living in, of course, but Queensland government websites. Register your interest on graduate portals there on the government websites. Currently at the moment, Queensland have quite a few portals that are open. I think Department of Main Roads and Transport, general public service positions are open at the moment as well. Reach out to your local councils. The Brisbane City Council, for example, they have the diversity and inclusivity email. So you sign up to receive positions that are not posted to the general public. So I guess that's a bit more streamlined, and it's more of a way to have more success, I guess, that way as well. And you can see the diversity inclusion at brisbane.qld.gov.au, and this will be available at the end on a resource page as well for you. Sign up for Seek, Indeed, Ethical Jobs, and also you can target specialist positions as well. Specialist in Australia, they offer for individuals who identify with autism, and DXC Technology Dandelion program, they also offer positions, intern positions for individuals who identify with autism. Okay. Another area is to face-to-face visit with employer shopfront. Well, that's an interesting one, and I've done that quite a lot over the years. And my colleague Zandy, who will be speaking next, she will also attest that this is a very good way to actually find out, is this an area that you'd like to work in? Look at the shop front. Is it an inviting shop front? Is it bright, happy? Can you see staff inside that are happy? Are they smiling, or are they looking quite tense, and is there an air of tension? Go in and ask to speak to the manager. Identify with the manager that this is one of the top 3 places of employment that you've identified that you'd like to work for. And that will pique their interest because they will want to know who are the other 2 that you want to work for. And I've always tried that strategy and it does work. And you can adjust your communication, of course, and say, well, you're my number 1 pick. So it takes a little practice, but we'll get to that at the end on how you could increase your confidence in that area. Have conversations and ask the manager, what do they look for in an employee? And do they have an inclusivity and diversity policy? Okay, next slide. Okay, approach. Reach out to the contact person on the job advertisement and have a conversation. Normally you'd see that on any government position, sometimes on SEEK or any of the ethical job positions as well. Reach out, make that call, and that way you have flagged with that contact person your name and your interest. They will take note of you and have a casual conversation about the position. Identify perhaps a couple of questions you could ask before you reach out and contact, but have that conversation. The contact person does appreciate your honesty and potentially, and I guess Zandy will cover this slightly in her area as well, is you know, when, where, and how do you disclose your disability as well. Maybe it's not at the time that when you reach out and speak to that person. Maybe that's at a later time, at interview perhaps. Another approach is discuss with your careers team, your lecturers, any possible contacts they can link you in with. Normally they would have an associate or an association that they have outside of the university as well. So they are a good one. Pick their brains. They're there to help you. Read company Google reviews. That's another good way to find out what other people think. What are the testimonials about other companies? Another approach is to research Grad Australia Top 100 on the internet. That's a very, very valuable tool, and you will note that who has inclusivity and diversity policies there as well. Again, I can't impress upon this enough with you, is research employers that are aligned with your values. It's so much easier to work for an organisation that is passionate about the same thing that you are passionate about. Ask if the organisation has an inclusivity, diversity policy or a graduate recruitment contact as well. Okay, next one. Yep. Think outside the box. All right. Video an employer testimonial and send it into the employer. Obviously, you'll need to find out the appropriate contact, but that is another way, another different way of reaching out, and that has worked successfully before. Have an up-to-date portfolio. Make sure that all your work is on that portfolio. For example, if you're a designer, IT, animation, make sure that's up to date. Accordingly, your up-to-date LinkedIn profile as well. That's very important. Employers do reach out to you. I've had a couple of students who have a very good LinkedIn portfolio and they've been contacted. And one of them actually is having an interview today. And that was a way, that was a strategy that has worked for this particular student. Another way is to volunteer. It's a stepping stone to paid employment, and it's also a way for the manager there or your online supervisor to be a current referee for you. Employers like to see that you've got a current resume and a current referee. Research and join in webinars and take note of key speakers and the organisations that they work for, and follow up with them afterwards. And you just never know. I guess the key is about communication. Attend events aligned with your interests. You never know who you might be standing next to. I had an interesting scenario. I had a graduate contact me last week who was in the supermarket, and they were talking to the checkout associate there, and she was saying that she had a contact. This student was saying that he was a psychology graduate, and the customer service associate said, "Oh, look, I've got a friend who's has a psychologist business," and they swapped details. Anyway, the student called the psychologist, and so they are going to have a meeting. So my point being there is you never know. You just never know who you're talking to and who may be able to help you with your networking. Another approach to reach out to employers is aligning with your own disability. I've used this approach before, and for example, should you identify with autism and you've completed a marketing degree, reach out to Autism Queensland and discuss and identify options that may be available in the marketing team there. I've done this in a variety of situations, and it has worked for me as well. Okay, next slide. And student profile 1. So I did have a graduate in a highly competitive field. Was not confident about sharing. Sorry, I just need to look at this screen because I just can't see all the rest of the notes there. Was not confident about options for sharing information about her condition with employers, especially in what it was a cutthroat industry, this particular industry. This young lady had no work experience or work history in the field as yet. So the response was that we approached a local MP's office and asked for an experience, a placement, with a discussion that highlighted her skills and her passion for the industry and her direction, and how that related to her degree and where she wanted to go long term. At the same time that she did that, we also applied for a position with the Federal Public Service, and that was a 4-stage application process. But at the time we were doing that, she was successful with undertaking this internship. It was an unpaid internship at the local MP's office. It was a 6-week internship, and at the end of that, we were still going through the process for the Federal Public Service position. The office manager was quite happy, more than happy to be a referee for this young lady. And I do believe that carried some weight for her last round of interview with the Federal Public Service. She was successful with the position and ended up co-locating to Canberra, and she has gone on from strength to strength. Again, it's about tapping into your passion and reaching out to employers that have the same value system as you do. It's not a chore otherwise. It's a pleasure to work there. Okay, thank you, Ben. Practice your personal statement. This is really important. Reach out to your parents, caregivers, friends, and practice your personal statement. It increases your confidence, and I cannot stress this enough, the more you are in tune with what you want, and you actually can hear yourself when you verbalize it. The more you are in tune with it, the more confident you become. It's a natural process. Maintain a diary of contacts, electronic or manual, including the date of contact, the company name, who you spoke to, the email address, their phone number, manager's name, the result of the conversation, and importantly with the graduate roles, closing dates for organisations and also closing dates for positions that you've applied for. And don't be afraid to follow up either. If you haven't had a response in a week, I would encourage you to just reach out and introduce yourself and ask for an update with progress. Write a script if that's useful. I've done that before as well, and I have had students who have provided feedback saying it's been very valuable as well. And again, it's all about having that confidence, increasing your confidence. I remember I'm reflecting back on the very first time that I started to support in the industry over 10 years ago, and I guess it was a challenge for me to pick up the phone, but now after a lot of practice and experience, I've become quite used to it, and I'm very happy to do it. So practice and you will get there. Okay, next slide, Ben. Okay, it's really important to build a plan. Make a mud map. I think that's important as well. Network. Be committed to what you're doing. Set that contact goal. Potentially set a contact for, hypothetically, you might say to yourself, I'd like to contact 2 employers a week, or I'd like to apply for 1 graduate position each week, and make it a really good application. Get comfortable with your personal statement. What you wish to achieve when you're reaching out. Do you just want to make a phone call and find out facts, or are you going to go straight in and ask for employment opportunities? Sometimes it's better just to wait and just call up and find out some information about the company, explain who you are, and that you're soon to graduate. You're really interested in this company because they have the same set of values you do. What sort of strengths do they look for in a candidate? And you'll be surprised at the way the conversation will evolve. Before you know it, they'll probably turn around and ask you to come in to meet them. Communication in multiple situations is key. As per the supermarket scenario that I gave you, go to different events. You never know who you're standing next to. Okay, so yes, communication in multiple situations is key. I think that's been the key theme for me over the years as well. And yeah, it's all about practice and networking and reaching out to as many people as you can. All right, thank you.